welcome to Planet Nerd, the difficult sophomore episode. This week we'll be failing to live up to the hype promised by our first episode, falling victim to our own hubris, and then waking up face down in a ditch, realising that we've got no money or friends, and the record label screwed us. And now for the news. This week, I present the news from America, where I'm currently on a business trip visiting New York, Boston, and San Francisco. So let's cross to me now live via satellite. Dan, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Dan.
Wow, it's just so amazing that the power of satellite communications can bring us together like this.
I think it's more the power of editing.
Yeah. So what have you discovered over there, me?
Yes, well, we've come here to New York. As you can see, this is the Brooklyn Bridge. Over here, we've got downtown Wall Street. Overhead, helicopters. But what we've seen here this week is we've gone to the Apple technology store, the giant glass cube on 5th Avenue. We've also been to the Sony Wonderland Technology Lab, which is an amazing place filled with robots and PlayStation 3s. We've even visited the sacred locations at which Ghostbusters was filmed. So all in all, it's been an amazing week. So next week, we'll get to see some of the fruits of those labours.
Really? I never saw it like that before. Well, it sure sounds like you're having a great time.
Repeat back to me something I just said.
What?
Anything I just said, just repeat it back to me.
Sure. You just said that Apple are releasing an which is their play into the lounge room convergence system.
Dan, you're a suck-holing pile of mouldy suck in a sack hit with a stick.
I sure am. Every week, or at least as many weeks as we can manage, Ben McKenzie will be bringing us the Geek of the Week. This week, my God, eek, that's a lot of eeks. Ben McKenzie ventures down into the bowels of Melbourne University, into the particle physics department, where they smash tiny things against other tiny things.
So Jared, thanks for talking to us today.
That's okay, no worries.
Now, I believe you're going to let us into the clean room.
Yeah, we're going to have a look inside the clean room today. This is where I do a lot of my work. So,
why is it called a clean room?
It's a clean room because it's specially designed to minimize the amount of particles in the air.
Right, so how many particles are in the air in there?
In there, depending on the area, roughly 1,000 particles in a square meter.
That's not very many, really, is it?
No, it's very few.
And so you put all the sensitive equipment in there?
Sensitive equipment and equipment that needs to be clean for sort of extended use and for gluing and assembly.
Am I clean enough to go in there?
As you are? No.
So what have I got to do?
So we'll take you through that. In here we've got our changing vestibule. So you'll change into the clean room equipment. We'll go through some sticky mats and we'll get some static off you and it should be okay.
All right, well, let's do it. Here we are in the clean room. I feel very clean. And I don't look nearly as cool as Jared does. Let's have a look at Jared.
That's how I set it up, really. I mean
like, that's clearly the greatest uniform I've ever seen in my life. How often do you wear this gear?
Depending on what we're doing, if we're producing some detectors or something, every day.
What do you actually do here?
Well, I suppose basically I make the machines that go ping.
The machines that go ping?
Yeah, they go ping, and then you can, from that, determine what type of particle has gone through it and track them and things like that.
So, what's your actual job title here?
Well, my job title currently is Research Fellow, or sort of a Research Assistant Grade 2. From time period to time period, it varies a lot. Sometimes I'll be in here 8 to 12 hours a day constructing these particle detectors for use overseas. Sometimes I'll be working on computer programs that go on the back end of some of these detectors and Sometimes I'll be overseas working with other groups, helping them to construct things and to calibrate their various detectors. So last year I worked in Switzerland for about 8 months, and that was a lot of fun.
So are you actually a qualified physicist?
No, but don't tell anyone.
What's that?
Well, this was something that was specifically designed and built at Melbourne University to create SCT modules. An SCT module is a particle detector that's going to be used in the ATLAS experiment over in CERN. So this is our Mitutoyo Quick Vision Pro metrology machine. So basically it is used to measure stuff. So it's a really expensive optical mirror, optical measuring system, I should say. And we can use this for image recognition. We can align to surfaces, and we can measure the distance between 2 points to an accuracy of about 0.2 microns.
How big is a micron?
25 microns is roughly the width of a human hair.
So we're talking really small.
Tiny, tiny. We measure computer chips, and we also measure our placement of computer chips.
So Jared, what's this machine?
So this machine is our wire bonder. So we use that to hook up all of the components that we've put together and measured previously.
And how does it work?
Well, if you have a look down here, there's a little tiny needle down there. That needle has got a little bit of wire that's coming out from underneath it, which is fed from a spool up there. So that wire, currently we're using 25 micron wire, so about the same width as a human hair. So that uses an optical image recognition system, and then that can find the wire bond pads and then come down, and it uses ultrasonic vibrations to melt the wire.
So this is in effect a real sonic screwdriver.
It's a sonic screwdriver.
That is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life. Thanks a lot for having us down here, Jared.
That's okay, it was a pleasure.
It was a lot of fun going into the clean room.
I'm glad some people can derive pleasure from it.
I just want to know, can I keep these clothes?
It's all disposable, so you can do with them what you want.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Parking Hell. What you're about to witness is the most parked-in series of cars that I've ever seen. Car number one, a simple Toyota Corolla. Movable, do you think? Check it out. Car number two, though, Saab 900S. At least the Corolla has some movement at the back end. 900S. Booyah! Parked in. Car number three, a Volkswagen, yellow, small, easy to park. You think so? I think not, for it is parked in by a BMW 325xi, a fabulous car, great for driving. Will they ever be able to drive it again? No, because it is parked in by a Nissan XE, a utility truck. Does it have any utility? Not at all. It's never going to move because it's parked in by a Volvo 740 GLA, number plate DBB 8324 from Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, they really know how to park. He must have rolled into this space because he's parked in by a Toyota Prius, one of the most efficient cars ever made. It has got electric engine and petrol engine, but it will never move because it is parked in by a Honda Accord LX, and so on.
Often we in the city get a little cocky. Sure, we've got easy access to PDAs, satellite communications, wireless internet, but some of the most interesting uses of technology happen out in the country, so I visited some country nerds to find out how it happens. Here we are, Planet Nerdskateers, in the countryside. You can tell because it's got dirt under me. Why did I come here? Why did I escape the city with all its gadgets and gizmos and things you can plug into walls? Because out here in the country is where you see some of the most amazing uses of technology. They have so little resources that they've got to scrape together stuff Mad Max style and make of it what they can. So let's go and talk to Brian. Hey Brian, yeah, good to see you. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We've been down here for about more than 20 years now. Originally growing grapes, although making wine. We still make some wine. We don't do so much of that these days. It's become a little uneconomic, we've found. But yeah, so I've pretty much had various jobs down here, including winemaking, for the last 20 years or so.
What is it that you like about living in the country versus living in the city?
Lack of traffic, green countryside, beaches, all of that stuff is very nice.
Have you always been a technology junkie? Did you always get into it, or?
No, I'm not even. I don't even have particular technical training. I'm not a technician. I think I have something of an aptitude for, but no formalised training. I've learned things along the way. I've learned how to run networks and just the basic computer skills that you need to make it work. More from needing to do that, rather than actually going out and learning it. So
how does technology and your sort of aptitude for technology make life easier in the country? Like, how has it helped you over the years?
Well, I think when we were first using the internet down here, it was absolutely appalling, because we're on dial-up on a telephone line that's 12 kilometres from an exchange, with electric fences interfering, and we must have spent at least hundreds of dollars on redialed connections, for Telstra during the early 90s. Got pretty much sick of that, 5 or 6 years ago, and decided to actually upgrade our internet connection to an ISDN connection. Now, Telstra being Telstra, that they couldn't do that, or didn't want to do it, or it was going to take months. So I had a friend in the local town where we have line of sight, even though it's 12 kilometres away. So I suggested to her that I'd provide her with an internet connection if she allows me to put an antenna on her house. We've got a hodgepodge of antennas and access points on this pole. Down the bottom is an old electricity box which houses a couple of Linksys and Minitar access points. Above that is a 900 megahertz antenna, which gives us a fairly high-speed wireless connection through 3000/512 kilobits, although it doesn't usually achieve that. Above that, we've got a 2.4 gigahertz antenna, which gives us an ADSL 8 megabits connection. That comes from Leongatha, where we have a similar antenna on the back of a house, and it gives us. We actually have a transfer speed across there of 1 megabyte a second, which is 8 megabits, which is a terrific and very surprising speed. I call myself a facilitator rather than an entrepreneur, because I make no money out of it. I spend money on it, but I'm able to assist the neighbours to have broadband, and so we've got 2 broadband connections with 3 or 4 people watching each one. And so we have backup. If one goes down, we can switch everybody onto the one, and keep people who are isolated with Telstra showing no interest in connecting them at all. They're actually achieve quite respectable broadband connections.
We're here with Les, and Les is a client of Brian. Now that you're on broadband, what sort of stuff do you use the internet for?
We use it a lot for correspondence with people. If we want to read a newspaper, if we want to buy a newspaper, then we've got about a 5 kilometre drive to the nearest place where we can buy a newspaper. And of course it's great because I can read any newspaper I like, New York Times, London Times, Bangkok Post. They're all papers that I like to have a bit of a read of. We don't like a bit of music now and again, because it puts us within reach of things that are normally not within reach.
The little grey box you're just looking at is a voice over internet telephone adapter, which enables us to make our outgoing calls and some incoming calls purely over the internet. 1 cent a minute, 2 cents overseas. On that network, I think we did 600 calls last month for a cost of $36, including overseas calls, and that's pretty good. This is a 1.8 metre prime focus satellite dish pointing at the Intelsat 701 satellite, which hangs over the international date line in the Pacific. Now that from that satellite there's C-band. This isn't C-band, this is KU band. There's also, and with the KU band we're able to watch French television, the Canal Plus network, and also there's various free-to-air channels as well on that. This satellite dish, it's an 85 centimetre offset dish as opposed to the prime focus. It's KU band, and it's motorised, and it's able to. At the moment, I've got it set for about, I think, roughly about half a dozen satellites. Some of them I rarely watch. The setup here is basically Sue's setup. She administers it, but I have more or less put everything in place, and then she has pretty much just left it there. Her router really should be in a plastic box. The other antenna you see there, of course, is the 2.4 gigahertz antenna, and she also has a satellite TV system here with a Dreambox on it, which is on our network. The Dreambox is a Linux software updatable machine. It's networked, it's on the internet, it's basically a small computer on the internet. Software updates are available on the internet. I'll just show you some downloads here, add-ons, plugins. We can go through and take whatever we want. We'll go for that one, Easy Logo, and that will download off the network in a flash and installed and usable immediately.
What's your favourite channel out of all of the satellite channels that you have available to you?
My favourite are probably the French music channels. The advertisements on them are fantastic. The music sometimes can be a little strange, but you know, it's not that different to what we're seeing here, particularly the pop music.
So there you have it. If you ever thought the high-tech lifestyle wasn't possible in a rural setting, think again. You too can have it all. All you need is a bit of know-how, some friendly neighbours, and some absolutely enormous aerials.
All right, Brian, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Stay nerdy. Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, good. How are you?
Yeah, good. What you working on?
My New Year's resolutions.
Oh, can I see?
Oh, what, you too good for puns now, are you? Well, you.
Every week, Melbourne comedian Rob Lloyd will be pulling out some of his favourite DVDs and giving you the 1-minute lowdown. This week, he treads on sacred ground. He reviews the unreviewable. Nerties and Nerdleman, Rob Lloyd reviews The Muppets Season 1.
Hi, I'm Rob Lloyd, and welcome to my DVD review. Now, I thought I'd start off with something that has been seen as the unreviewable, something that is so revered and held in such high regard that nobody possibly could give a review of it. So, I'm going to give it a bell. The Muppet Show, that premiered in 1976 and was the creation of Jim Henson and all his fabulous workers at the Jim Henson Creature Shop. They pitched the idea around to companies all over America. Nobody really wanted it until someone gave them a bit of a lucky break. And they came up with a show that redefined family entertainment. Now, this series is guerrilla entertainment at its best. Characters aren't defined, scripts are rewritten on the time. You each actually see some characters revoiced in one episode. All the guest stars are either friends that they had to call in as a favour or the studio bossing people to come in before it became a massive success and people were clamouring to get on with the likes of Christopher Reeve, the stars of Star Wars, and my personal favourite, Alice Cooper. Now, some of the special features on this that are really cool are, you've got little fun facts that come up that aren't really that interesting, but the most interesting is to see the promo, the actual pitch that they sent to all the studios that got them the show. Out of 7 Samurai, you got to give this 7 Samurai. Keep an eye out for Season 2 later this year. I've been Rob Lloyd, rock the Casbah.
Hey Jeffrey, do you know what time it is?
No, Bob. What time is it?
Why, it's ping time! Hey Ted, you don't look so good.
I'm using dial-up from my grandma's house.
You sure are a real pussy.
It's really slow. Yes, I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is love for technology. And then, there is love for technology. I bring you Karen Musniks.
questions, the answers were all wrong. I couldn't find the problem, the division was too long. My square was incomplete, the solution's too complex, till you came into my world and taught me the value of X. You light up my life when I light up your screen. You plot the parabola of our love on the axis of my dreams. I always turn you on, push your buttons, then I know there's an 86.4% chance that I'll never let you go. My pulse starts to race, I get flushed in the face when you tabulate pi to the 25th place. I got fatal attraction to your vulgar fractions, and solving your matrix gives me such satisfaction. You help me with anti-differentiation, don't leave me hanging like a remainder in a badly formed equation. I won't go off on a tangent if you show me a sign. I wrote my name on your back with texter, so everyone knows you're mine. People ask me why it's you I'm thinking of. I tell them y equals 6x over 5 to the power of love. The power of love. 6x over 5 to the power of love.
And that's been Planet Nerd for this week. Stay nerdy. Good night.